I'm going to show you another way to put letters on t-shirts. I made a t-shirt for something that I did this summer, and I made the mistake of letting someone else wash it for me, and it got completely destroyed, so I'm going to remake it. But this is the shirt. I've already redone the back, so I'm going to put the Greek letters on the front, and I'm going to show you how to do that in sort of a different way. It's like a spin-off of stenciling, I guess, and sort of the technique I have in my other video. So, this is what I'm going to do. For those of you who haven't seen my other video, go watch it. But what you need to do is go on Word and find whatever word or shape, whatever you want, and put it in a Word document. I made it whatever size I wanted. I mean, you can make it how big you want, whatever. And print it off, like I've done here. And then after you have that, I will show you how to put it on your shirt. Okay, so once you have your letters, what you're gonna do is cut them out, but not like cut around them. I just have two on the same page, so I'm sort of going to separate them. And cut off some of the excess paper because you won't need the whole thing. This way you'll have each letter individually. If you're doing a word, I would suggest just keeping all of the letters together because it's easiest that way. It's just because I'm doing three separate shapes and they weren't all together. So what you need is freezer paper. You really don't need this much freezer paper, but it was the only thing they had at Walmart at the time, so that's what I got. And then what you're gonna do is pull out enough freezer paper to put your three letters on, or whatever it is you're doing, and cut it across. Okay. And flip it over. You need freezer paper because it's got the paper on one side and then the wax on the other side. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to cut it out and iron it onto my shirt so that it stays and it makes a nice stencil. But for now, what I'm going to do is move that. I'm going to put each of my letters down on this and have them spaced out how I want them. I'm going to tape them down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the letters out so that it makes a stencil form, and then I'm going to put it down and iron it on and paint over it. So you need some tape. You can use any kind of tape. This is just the only kind I had at home right now because I'm moving, so I have moving tape. And tape all of your letters to the freezer paper. And you don't need a ton of tape, just enough so that it sticks down there. And make sure you tape the actual letters, not the paper around the letters, because the letters are what's going to get cut out. And you don't want anything else really like in the way of that, if that makes any sense. You can print this out directly onto freezer paper if your printer lets you, but my printer doesn't, like, it doesn't feed through there, and I tried and it jammed my printer up. So make sure if you're going to print it out on freezer paper that your computer actually is capable of doing that. Otherwise, just do what I'm doing. If it does print out on freezer paper, then you can skip the whole step of taping this down because that would be sort of pointless. Okay, so then I have it all on my paper, and what I'm going to do is cut each individual letter out, and with O's, or like with the delta or A's or anything that has like a shape in the middle of it, you'll have to cut it out in two separate spots and iron it down in two separate ways. Otherwise you'll have to completely print a whole new thing out. So I'm just gonna cut this out. Okay, so once you finish cutting all the letters out, you have a stencil like this, and I cut out the middle part for the O and the delta. And then what I'm going to do is move all of this over here. Take my shirt, and I put cardboard in the middle of it because it'll probably bleed through. So I'm going to lay it down. And I'm going to put my stencil down wherever I want it. That looks about good. And then put the middle parts in. And then I'm going to take an iron and actually iron the paper on there. So you've got to make sure that the paper side is up and the wax side is down. So get your iron and bring it over here. You don't really need it up that high. I use it on about 2 or 3. And once it's heated up, you can just sort of lay it down and start ironing it. Mine's a little cool. When you iron it down, you want to make sure that you get all of the edges, because when you put the paint on, you don't want the paint to like bleed out. So that's what you're gonna do. Okay, make sure you turn your iron off because you don't want to get burned or anything like that. And then I'm taking regular acrylic paint and paintbrush. You can use whatever size. You can get the paint for like $3. Well, yeah, this says $2.50 at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Walmart. Or you can get smaller ones for like 95 cents. And I got a pack of 10 brushes for like $4. So I put my paint down on some of the leftover freezer paper, and then what you want to do is just paint over the stencil. And what I suggest doing is painting away from the edge of the stencil so that if it sort of bleeds out, it bleeds into the letter or the shape and not out towards the t-shirt. Okay, after you paint the first layer, what I like to do is take a blow dryer and sort of dry it out and then go back and put a second layer on. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, and once you finish your second coat, you can do 3 or 4, however many, but I'm painting black on a white shirt, so it was already showing up pretty well. You're going to blow dry it again, or just wait until it's completely dry, and then you'll peel the freezer paper off. But make sure it's completely dry before you peel it off, because otherwise it'll sort of like spread out and it'll look funny. And there you go. So there's my letters on the front, and you can see what I've done on the back right here. So there you have the whole shirt. You can use whatever colors you want, and then if it looks like it needs a little bit of touching up, you can just take the paintbrush or a smaller brush and go sort of fill it in over here. And make the lines nice and straight if they aren't already, or if it got messed up at all when you were taking the freezer paper off. Okay, and then once you're done, you have a nicely painted shirt, and as soon as it's dry, you can wear it. There's the front of mine, and I don't really want to put it down because I don't know if it's completely dry, but there is the back of it. And I did the back the exact same way, and you can use the acrylic paint that I used in this one or the puppy paint like I used in my other one. But either way, there you go.